Up with Dr. Leyland. Step into the future, the world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making, we'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars. Level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Empowered in your passion, your voice will be heard. Building a legacy with every word. From podcasts to pages, from business to art. Level Up's the place where it all can start. With heart and with vision, we're chasing every goal. Together we'll ignite the fire in your soul. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, we're trailblazing, breaking through the mold. Dreams are alive, let your story unfold. With courage and pride, we'll take the fight. At Level Up, we own the night. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. So let's level up and never look back. On the road to greatness, we're on the right track. Together we'll soar, together we'll thrive. At Level Up Academy, we're alive.
Unmute by design. I'm hoping that I'm not muted. Oh my gosh, it's so funny sometimes in my podcast, guys. Today is going to be Unmute by Design series, Soul versus Software. And as we navigate through this new revolution of life called AI, it is everywhere. It is integrated in everything that we do. So even if you decide to I don't want it, it's not a matter of you want it or not. It's a matter of when are you going to use it and how are you going to use it, right? So I have taught a class, business law class in the college that I worked for. And it came up in a conversation with my students about AI music because I played my AI music in class. And they're like, Dr. Leland, did you know that AI generated music actually is not copyrightable? So that is the topic. And I'll send you a link where you can read it yourself through copyright, USPTO or Copyright for AI tonight. And we also are going to be talking about how do we unmute by design? Soul, which is you, your soul, versus software. And can AI music be protected by copyright law? So welcome to Unmute by Design, where Susanna Dawn and myself, Dr. Leland, where we say the quiet parts out loud. And today we're hitting a high note with one of the most controversial conversations in the creative world, okay? What happens when the artist is no longer human? As AI continues to pump out symphonies, lo-fi beats, chart-worthy bangers in seconds, the question isn't can AI make the music? It's can anyone own it? Spoiler alert, okay, guys? In the eyes of the law, the answer right now, as we speak, is no. So, in this episode, we're unpacking how US copyright law is struggling to keep up with artificial creativity. We'll break down the pivotal case. I don't know if you guys are keeping up with it, but it's Thaler versus Pearl Mute. I'll explain why your AI made masterpiece might be legally up for grabs and show you what entrepreneurs like myself, like you, and creators can do right now to protect your work in this legal gray zone. Because we are living in the gray zone and we want to thrive beyond boundaries, right? So if you're a music maker or tech innovator, digital entrepreneur, or a podcaster who's creating music like myself as AI, music, or just curious about where creativity and code collide, this episode is for you, whether you're here or your team replay. Because the battle between soul and software is ownership, is the new front line. So you guys are ready for that conversation. But before we start, okay, let's go ahead and pull up my sponsors and, of course, my sister, April Wyatt.
I'm April Wyatt, and I'm a holistic health coach, and I am here to give a shout out to CJ. I absolutely appreciate her and her authentic connections and heart-centered approach to support others. And she shared with me during my Purposeful Driven Women Retreat an amazing thing that I want to share with you as well. And that is the Bella Grace Elixir. This little elixir is amazing. It's powerful. And I was skeptical at first. I have to tell you, I was. How could this little elixir really support me? And it has beyond what I could even anticipate. So not only it supports the collagen, right, for our hair, skin, nails, but also joint inflammation. As I'm getting a little wiser in my years, my body needs a little bit more extra support. So thank you, CJ, for I hope each of you give yourself grace and try it out. Keep living with intent.
I'm muted again. I'm sure of it. So Tomo is with, it's going to be November of this year in Japan. And then next year, she's going to Bali. And Susanna and I, we're going to be with April Wyatt physically, mentally, spiritually next year in Bali because we love alignment and mental wellness for sure. So this is the Bella Grace Elixir code. Scan that QR, and I believe I have a code somewhere for 10% off. Just let me know. I'll find it as well because I think I have an additional 10%. We still have our 50 inspirational connections. It will end August of this month at the end of August. Okay. And again, this is a freebie for the community. You could be on Instagram, you could be on TikTok, and you could be on LinkedIn or YouTube, however you want to show up. So long as you have inspirational story, we want you for sure to be part of our most 50 inspirational connections on social media. This is to promote you and your business, but most importantly, to promote community of inspired individuals, right? And then our anthology is now open. It is called In the Space Between, the stories we don't say out loud. Because most people, okay, they actually tell you, hey, how did you get started? Hey, how are you right now? But no one talks about the ugly side, the crying moments, the depression, the drama, the turmoil, the mental anguish, right? And the cyclical things we do in our brain. No one talks about those things. And we want real stories with real power, featuring soul bearing memoirs, essays, anthology books, description, whatever you want to show up. If you want to have a music, we're going to talk about that in a minute, lyrics for that, yes, let's do it. For readers ready to reflect, perfect for anyone navigating change. This collection offers healing, perspective, and connection in the most uncertain spaces of life. Susanna and I will always promote inspiration, because when you're inspired, you're motivated. Even if your life right now is in shambles and you can't even put the puzzles together, not even one or one, believe me, if you show up and you are staying positive and you are enveloped with people like myself and Susanna in our community who's staying positive, no matter what life has thrown at them, it will make a difference. And it's sustainable difference, not just for a day or for a moment, right? So if you're a community member, shout out to you. Let's, guys, I haven't talked about my rice coffee. And I love mushroom coffee. By the way, mushroom coffee is like $10 for a small coffee. Holy moly. But you get a Constance Leland 15 coupon. I think we're changing our link soon, so I will keep you posted when. I'm collaborating with a lot of people soon, actually. TikTok Go, if you're on TikTok, I just got into that, so it's gonna be, I love food. I'm a foodie enthusiast. Apparently, there's gonna be travel, hotels, and I will find a way for you guys to be inspired through living with intentions, just like April said, because we are the ripple effect, right? So that's where we are at. And last but not least, we are still needing your help. We are pleading for your kindness and generosity to help us with this unforeseen life events that we don't wish upon anyone. This is my niece, Elise. Whether it's financially, share her story, and most importantly, pray for the family, not just Elise, right? Pray for everything as we pray back to you guys, because we love our community. So if you are a community member who needs help, reach out to Susanna and myself, and we will feature you on our Sunday show. All right. Let's talk about this, okay, for a moment. And literally about the legal dead zone. Okay, US copyright law only protects original works of authorship created by a human being. Let me tell you, in 2023, there was a case called Thaler versus Perlmutter. The court upheld that works created by AI without human input cannot be copyrighted. This means that your AI produced banger music, it's public domain from the start. That means anybody can use it. You have nothing, nothing to sue anybody on. Okay, and this is number 20, docket 1564 DDC in August 18th, 2023. I'm going to give you a link that you can access at US Copyright Office, copyright registration guidance, work containing material generated by artificial intelligence. But let me tell you, just like any other law, there's a loophole, okay? This means that if a human edits, arranges, or adds creative expression to the AI generated music, those parts, but proving which parts are human enough is messy and can be contested, okay? So aids to be used as a tool versus the creator. The law currently view AI as a tool, not a creator. Okay, this is not according to Level Up Academy or CJ. This is according to the federal law about copyrights. Okay, AI as a tool, not a creator. Just like a piano doesn't own the music played on it, right? AI doesn't own what it generates. This puts out what? This puts onus on the user to make sure there's enough original, quote unquote, authorship. Now, what's the risk for artists and entrepreneurs like myself and you? You want to license your AI generated tracks. Good luck. you can't enforce ownership. That means someone else could rip it, remix it, monetize it, and you have zero legal recourse. So what does this mean for the future for creative ownership? Could we see a new IP laws? Yeah, maybe I'll go to law. No, should we? I mean, how do art and style can be cloned with a few prompts? Think about that. Okay. When machine can mimic soul but can't own it, what does that say about the future of music and who we okay? Let's talk about the whole thing. Okay, because there is no protection for that. But let me go back and deep dive, okay? So, story time, storytelling, Thaler, however you want to call him. He actually is a computer scientist. He developed an AI system known as quote unquote creativity machine. And it was titled A Recent Entrance to Paradise, the title. He applied to register copyright AI. Okay, this is the key, naming the AI as the author. Well, the US Copyright Office denied that application in 2022. And they cited a foundational policy that only human created works are eligible for copyright protection. Now, the court, this is in 2023, the DC, District of Columbia, affirmed the denial, saying that human authorship is a bedrock requirement of the Copyright Act of 1976. Now, on March 18 of 2025, the U.S. Court of Appeals from the D.C. Circuit unanimously upheld that decision. It was listed as the sole property or sign documents or have human lifespan provisions, the is not copyright U.S. law. So why does that matter? Where Judge Millett, this is the wrote, Act requires all work to be authored in the first being, reflecting that the core legal principle is intertwined with statutes addressing inheritance, duration, and ownership. That means all premise on human capacity. Court left the question of how much human input is enough. Is it 10%? Is it 50%? Is it 60%? Well, full AI only creations fail. Works involving human direction, editing, curation might, that's the key word, guys, might still qualify under the current law. So what is the implications? Labeling that says AI is the sole author is a losing strategy. For those of you who's using AI for your anthology and you think you have copyrights, think again. Human involvement, like selecting prompts, arranging outputs, refining edits, is essential to cross that threshold. Future copyrightability hinges on how courts or Congress define the line of human authorship. That means, guys, if you touch at all can't be copyrighted under the current US. If music is that means your story, because we who like to use AI in their anthology. Even if you own the AR or commission it, the law sees no human author. That means no copyrights. Just go ahead and cite Thaler versus Pearl. Let me bring my sister from another mister. What do you think, sis?
Man, there's a lot there, and what I got out of it was that pretty much you've got to be involved with everything that you write, everything that you make, everything you create. You've got to have that total involvement for it to count as being yours.
I think this will affect people. We know some people who uses this is now, like, it takes them a long time to edit because we need to make sure that we're not to write our paper and we have critical thinking, because AI, if you notice, likes everything to be summarized, right? If you show up on AI, Perplexity, ChatGPT, everything is summarized. That's how you feed them, right? But critical thinking does not summarize. It dig deep. It ensures that you have thought about something that you're passionate, that you're talking about, and like something that I provided for you, and you still have to verify that that example and the link that they provided is actually legit. So how do we ensure as educator that our students are using AI properly? I call them on it. Like, what? You can use AI. I'm not saying you can't, but that's technically plagiarism. Now with entrepreneurs, we're talking music right now. But think about the anthologies. There's so many people probably using AI for their anthologies and they're cranking it, right?
Right.
And if it's not copyright, you discern where's the discernment? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, at that point, then you also have to prove that it's AI, that it falls into the gray zone. And that's sometimes that can be harder to do. Being able to look at being able to read some of those things. Sometimes it makes total sense. You know that it's AI, but there's other times you can't be certain that it's AI. And so how does that play in this question? Because you're not you're not able, if you can't answer the question definitively, then it leaves it as a big question mark. It becomes, I don't know how to answer that.
So remember we went to the AI show and
Yep.
Interviewed the vice president, right, of Turnitin, and they have turned it in software that's also AI generated to sift through AI. So that would be
Right.
their way of making sure that the educational systems equipped with the right and appropriate tools to sift through. But what happens to colleges or universities who have small budget? How do we, you can call your students out, like definitively, right? Like 100%, or B, to even, it's like A, if I was owning a big school, I would definitely set a policy, a standards. You can use AI because it is a tool. However, use 20% of AI. When we write now, right? In college, in master's or doctoral program, I ask my students, 90% your own original thought, 10% generated from your citations. Why couldn't we have the same policy? 10 to 20% AI generated, but 80% critical thinking. Because AI is a tool, right?
Right.
Well, so what are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, one of the things I run into on that one is because I've run some of my stuff through those verifiers, and it's always interesting to see how many times it comes back telling me certain sentences are AI when I know that they were my sentence when I wrote it. And I know I wrote it. I know I didn't have help making that sentence. And yet the so-called system will say that it's AI. So we need some way to be able to cover that, because that's going to be another problem with this whole thing, is how many times, if you run something that somebody totally wrote on their own, what happens when that thing gets run through the ringer and is told that it's 50, 70% AI when AI was never near it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Well, I know that Turnitin has worked on it
Right.
prior to OpenAI GPT was born. So I know that that's something that they have been working hard on. So to evolve, right, as AI has become prominent. So I love that, because I think they have, as AI also evolved, they had to involvement and the evolution of the power of AI. But things are not, but what you can do is the indicative, right? So there's a tool called Originality. I know. Turnitin AI or AI by Copy Leaks. Those are some things that I use because they have linguistic patterns. Their sentence structure estimate like the likelihood of it. Basically, that is where when you use those things, they are probability is not 100%, but they're very accurate. False positive or negatives, like what Susana is saying. But these are helpful for initial screening or due diligence if you're an educator or maybe an entrepreneur. Admissible in court, okay, guys, if you need to do that, or academic trials or anything like that, it's not yet admissible. But these are the tools that it's not, even though it's not foolproof, it can indicate that somebody might be using GPT-0. This is why what I do with my students is, even if you're an online taker, I want you to literally, okay, present your final project. Because when you just do a final project all written or writing, anybody can do GPT, literally, right? But if you have to explain to me what your knowledge is the entire term, and you're reading your presentation and I ask you I know that you didn't write your paper. Okay. I know some students have no shame. They're like, own it. Some students will say, okay, I didn't really get that. So I think if you're an educator, you have to say, yes, we can use AI, but no, you can't do 100% AI. Use your own knowledge. What's the point of going to school and getting your degree if you can't even do critical thinking? There's no point, right? But even if you don't go and you have a business and you create a business plan based on AI, but then your investors ask you a question and you can't answer it because you didn't even know what you wrote because AI wrote it, you just lost an opportunity of a lifetime because you can't even talk to it. All right. So embedding watermarks or signature is going to be something I think that is tech-based proof. Some platforms is starting to embed invisible watermarks or cryptographic into the AI generated outputs like music, video, and things like that. You'll see it. OpenAI, if you guys didn't know, is actually creating a digital provenance tools for content detection. Firefly embeds content credentials using the C2PA standards. Hugging Face, I know that's kind of weird, right? But it's called Hugging Face or Google DeepMind are working on watermarking techniques so that they know that if anybody else uses AI for their business or their education or anything, there's an embedded watermark that you use AI, right? So Coalition for Content Provenance and often, just like tools and AI is kind of new, so everyone's like wild west everywhere. But as like I said, AI evolves as you see the problem, there's going to be a certain fix for that. What are some of your thoughts on that, sister, in terms of like making sure that maybe we should be like a forensic analysis or analyst for AI? I don't know. Something to think about. What do you think, sister?
Oh, I had something and it's like, dang, I should have written it down. As you're going through all of that, I was thinking in terms of college. I mean, it's nice that they're coming up with ways to embed a watermark because that we need something like that in terms of the students. And I'm taking that same approach that you talk about of you've got to be able to defend. And so what I was thinking of as you were talking about this is take the business plan aspect. I can't understand why someone would let AI create a business plan and not make sure that they understood it, not make sure that it made sense to them so that they can speak it. But then again, if we got students that are using AI and they just read what it gave them and they don't understand what it is, it's the same thing. So it's got to start at some point where people have to know, they have to be able to back up, be able to verbally defend whatever it is that they write. And that may be another step that comes into play is having that verification process of, okay, you wrote this. Now tell me, what does it mean? Can you tell me what this means? Can you tell me what you're saying in this point, what you're saying in that point? You got to be able to defend it and say either this is what it is, or I mean, I get it too. There's times that I forget what I wrote after I wrote it. So there's a slippery slope, but you still have the basic ideas of what you've written. So it needs to be there. It has to be all part of it.
I know, check and balances, guys. Check and balances. We're gonna get there. Aaron, this is actually, thank you for being here, by the way, on Level Up Academy. I think this is your first coming in, so welcome. We have a lot of people here that are new. Thank you so much for coming in. Dr. Du is here. Babita, thank you. Henry, thank you, Henry, for being here. I love your questions all the time. Noni, Tracy, sister, hello. Danielle, obviously, and brother Leo, Osman, thank you for being here. I want to actually give you ideas on this one. What if you wrote this one right here? I don't know if you are in the US, because we're talking about federal law US. I am not privy or have not researched to talk about it deeply on the laws of international law, but not international law. However, I dabble a little bit on business law as an entrepreneur. So I do teach business law in this class, and I do my due diligence on also researching. https www.copyright launched in the report on copyright and artificial replicas, the copyrightability, generative AI training pre-publication. There's announcements and blogs, and in terms of getting into what is it. So to summarize, okay, if you missed it at the very beginning of the conversation, is that they're not saying that you can't write lyrics, right? Or you can't write. They're saying don't let AI be the author of your work because of the domain. So I use AI to help me with my stanza on my music. However, my stanza means something for each of my sisters and my brother. Like when I write my music on Level Up, it's all about my experience, and it's all about my experience with Susana. It's all about my experience with Danielle. It's about my experience with, I didn't know my relationship with these people. So I wrote the stanza my people, and if anybody puts me in front of the court, I'll tell you exactly why I wrote this lyrics based on our relationship and our friendship, their life currently, and how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. So if you see all my music, I wrote it. I have AI help me on stanza because I'm not a musician. And yes, AI is the one who sings it, but itself is 100% what I wrote. And I need to copyright it, I could, because it's written by me, human. So that's what I'm saying. You can't have copy and paste and then call it a day and put your name on it and slap it. It's that you didn't write it, right? Because the tools right now is not foolproof. So then you see what I mean? It's a top So this is why the conversation is a really good conversation. But this is the copyright information. Check that out. Definitely, I definitely encourage you guys to check it out, right? Because it's necessary for everybody to know what are our rights. But again, this is more of United States because I only teach the US copyright laws and things like that. Another thing with Unmute by Design series is going to talk about part of Unmute by Design is to know who you are and align with what you want. You want to be known for just copy and pasting thoughts is doing for you. Part of owning an alignment is owning yourself. So if you let others, and I mean others as AI, leaders, other people too, but others write your lyrics, write your story. Are you then unmuting by design? Or are you designing to be muted? What are your thoughts on that, sister?
Actually, you got me thinking now about all these people that I see. They talk about writing somebody's book, and it really is AI written, and the people don't even have, it's like they tell their story or something, but then it's all written by AI. And so I'm wondering now what kind of can of worms that's going to open, which is why I stay away from those. But yeah, coming back to the music world, it's so important to make sure that you do understand that whatever you're doing, it's your name that's going to be tied to it. It's as you often say, when you're recommending somebody, when anybody recommends somebody, it's also the reputation that's going with it. So that reputation is going to be impacted if you become known as a cut and paster, as opposed to somebody who is trying to write and actually own it, and not just letting something else write it and then take credit for it.
I want to talk about 3 comments. First, Annie, I love this. Has no soul, no humanity, or inspiring experiences. That is so cold. The way they describe their story is so skin deep, not deep in the tissue and the soul of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Moment. Okay. So that is one of the issues. Aaron, what if you can prove the day of creation? It doesn't matter. If it's written by AI, it's public domain. That's literally the US law. Like, you can flip flop it, it's still a flop. Like, it's just not gonna do nothing. What they're asking is, even if you add on a pancake, it's a pancake, right? So even if you say, well, I created it, okay, but did you create it or did AI create it? That's really the question. If it's not human created, there's no laws to prevent from anybody taking your work. That's literally what the US law right now says since 2023. It could change, but currently that is what's happening. I want to actually talk to Brenda Leese. Tools that can be used to identify when something is AI created, and at the same time, there are tools to scrub AI data. Correct. But if you're going to go to that much effort, why not just create? Like, seriously, right? And that's the one I'm talking about, Brenda Leese. You can have all the tools that you want. You can have anybody scrub your AI data. As soon as there are C2PA, you can't scrub it. Okay? Believe me on that one. I'm married to one who creates them. So you can't scrub it. There are signatures, visible watermarks. So you and I could not see it, but it's encrypted. So once they put it in encryption, they'll see that you use AI, because there's codes. Unless you're a coder and you're really smart on scrubbing it, not just another tool, you're not going to avoid it. You're not going to avoid it. There's going to be encryption data. But for me, it's like, why go through the trouble of scrubbing it if you can create your own? I don't get it. Why do you guys go through scrubbing when you can create your own? Like, stop.
Mm-hmm.
need to unmute by design. Design your own life to align. Use AI as a tool. Well, I love AI, believe me, but I also promote critical thinking as an educator, as a business owner, as a marketer, as a podcast host. I want critical thinking, not everything AI. AI is so easy, it makes us lazy. Think about when you go to the hospital and you lay down. Okay, I've seen this on my stepdad, and only for a week, he cannot walk. His thing was like he was about to die really, so he couldn't walk. Right, so for a whole week he didn't move, no exercise, nothing. Atrophy happens physically. You could see it. We can't see our brain literally rotten or rotting, right? Being lazy, because all we do is prompt and then copy and paste. And here's another thing too, because it is ones and zeros, literally AI is all mathematical equations, believe it or not, even though it spits out words, it's all algebra. Your outcome is only as good as your input. So if you're not good at prompting, your outcome is also not good. Right? We've seen it. Like Susanna and I will be doing the same thing, and she's like, wait, why is mine not that great? And I'm like, okay, first you got to train it. Second, you got to ask it the right way. There is a right way and there is not okay way, right? So that's the reason why we kind of learn and evolve. But sister, what's your thought on using AI as an educator to provide feedback?
So using it to provide feedback, I mean, you can do that, but you still can't just trust it with what it's going to give you. You still have to make sure that it makes sense. You still have to make sure that it's answering it. It's focused on what it's looking at, because it could get something wrong, and then it's still. The other thing is you still got to make sure it makes sense, and that it's still in your words. It can't. If you're not a sterile writing and a sterile speaking person, then if you take something from AI, you most likely have to go in there and humanize it a little bit, bring it to something that's closer to the way that you would speak, the way that you convey information. Again, you don't want to get into a cut and paste situation, because that's when mistakes happen. And if you're not looking at it, you're not watching it, you're not seeing what's coming back at you, then mistakes are going to happen, and it's not going to be good ones.
Yeah. Okay. So I have framework, and also it's like I was thinking about this, and okay. So remember I told you guys about like the prompt logs and timestamps, right? This is for filing. So if you want to file a copyright on your music or the lyrics, like Aaron, if you want to do that, you can. And if you want to sue somebody, it's yours, right? So you got to do copyright. So what is the proof? You got to look up prompt logs and timestamps. Okay. What are some of the tools that you can use? I'm going to give it to you. You can use stamp that you have, Notion, or APIs. Everything nowadays has API. For schools or content audits, this is actually kind of weak if you want to use it in lawsuits, but you can still like GPT-0 or CopyLeaks. And the reason Friendlies are some of the tools actually that look at AI generated content, right? GPT-0, CopyLeaks. These are AI detection tools, but on its own, you can't actually foolproof that saying, hey, you copied my ideas or my songs. That's not 100% foolproof. Watermark or metadata, we use a lot of metadata. So Adobe Firefly or DeepMind are the tools for that. These are emerging tools right now, so it's not a 100% foolproof, but these are some of the creative tools or publishing things you can use. Also, you can do creative audit trails, meaning you can have screenshots, you can have your process document. These are strong when you do rights. These are usually used for academicians like myself or legal claims. If I want to claim that you copied my song, even the beats and the vibe and all that, then it can be, I can use my screenshots because I have all my screenshots. Or you can have a platform disclaimer built in AI and you can do tags. But these are only partial, like license statements and things like that. So those are not foolproof. So the framework I want to provide is called Trace. I know it's kind of cool. Like I was thinking of like I think there was a TV show called Trace. So the first one is T, track it. R is record it, right? C means, hey, these are 80% mine, 20% AI. So attribution, like you need to say, claim what is what. Confirm it and then evaluate it. Right? So these are how you brand yourself anyway. It's called Trace, track, record, attribute, confirm, and evaluate. And this way you can see if you have to sue someone because they got your lyrics or they got your sound, you can. Okay, so just thread lightly when you do say, I have created an AI. If you guys do Amazon, there is a box, it says AI generated. It will ask you, is it music? I mean, is it pictures or is it the whole thing? Right? Because why? Amazon wants to make sure that when they put that copyright there, that they can copyright it. Right? Because if it's generated by AI 100%, it's going to wash because the law says so. So that is one part that I want to impart today. Now, sister, my question is, do you think that the current copyright law is protecting creators like ourselves, or do you think they're falling behind in innovation?
I almost think it's going to be falling behind because things are changing so fast right now, and when you can, if you don't keep up with the creators, because there's so many different ways to create and still really own every step of that creation so that it is yours. But you got to make sure that the copyright laws are staying with these opportunities to create in new and sometimes technological ways. Because even with AI, sometimes it's, I've got this sentence, I really don't like it. Help me come up with something different. And then it becomes a part of your book. How much of an issue is that going to be if you've got it helping with a couple sentences versus you've got it writing huge chunks of whatever it is you're writing, and you're not even paying attention to what it is. You just cut and paste. So the AI laws, and remember too, the copyright laws, you keep talking about 1976. So, I mean, we're talking about a 50-year-old law. How do you make sure that these laws are kept up to date? Because while maybe the first 30 years it was fine because there wasn't that much of a change, the last 20 years, there's so much change in everything that everything, it just, there's no way it's keeping up with what's going on now. And I'm not an expert in it, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of stuff that really is a creator created it and they should have that copyright, the copyright law that's in place might not allow it to be copywritten.
Yeah, and that is really what the harsh reality is, right? So if it's AI generated song and someone monetizes it and the work has no human authorship or copyright protection, your legal options are extremely limited. Okay, so that's the harsh reality. So you likely have no enforceable copyright claim, period, because our current US copyright protects works of human authorship, right? Fully AI generated songs are considered public domain. It's not me creating it. That is AI copyright law. Okay, so that means anyone can use it, anyone can remix it, profit from it, and you can't stop them. You can't also issue a DMCA or takedowns on platforms like YouTube or Spotify or anything like that, because these people require proof of copyright ownership. The only way you can get proof is if you applied. Now, if the song is AI generated only, that's the keyword only, you can't demonstrate original human input. Platforms reject your takedown request. They're like, yeah, whatever, right? And then they will use copyright infringement law that they just put in 2023 with Thaler and Perlmutter. So they're like, no, you have no legal grounds. So what can you do to mitigate and have a strategic recourse is the question. If the work is AI assisted, this is the keyword, guys, AI assisted, not AI only, okay? Hear those words. AI assisted, not AI only. You may be able to copyright the human elements like the lyrics, the arrangement, the vocals, whatever. In that case, you can go after someone using those parts of your work. Or you can use contract law, right? If you distributed your music under a license agreement for clients or a website or a collaborator, you can enforce the terms of that agreement, even without the copyright. Just use hold legit weight, even when copyright doesn't give you any weight, right? Or you could actually trademark your artist's name and brand assets. So someone might use your song, but they can't use your name, they can't use your logo, they can't use catchphrase or audio logo or likeness or brand visuals. You can do that. Trademarks is another line of defense for you, especially in e-commerce or if you're an influencer platforms, right? Like TikTok or anything. Or you could do blockchain time stopping. You can win, you can protect your reputation, you can negotiate future licensing, you can do whatever you want using blockchain time stopping. Or don't do this, okay? Shaming. Don't do that, okay? But you can literally, okay? It's so powerful and have community leverage, right? In the creator economy, reputation is currency. It is. If someone steals your work and your audience know it's yours, literally saying, guys, oh, this is what happened to me right now. And people are crazy. They will attack the other people. Publicly call it out. Rally, get your rally support. Pressure platforms to take action, even if it's unofficial. Because when the people speak, it is strong. What's your take on that, sister, on the for or strategic recourse if you were to use AI in your work?
Strategic recourse is first off, you got to know your rights. You got to know how much counts in your favor. Because if there's any question, if you've got any question of where you might fit in this, you're not going to get very far. Because if you've got a question and you're just going to try it, it probably won't get very far. But if you know that you wrote this, you did this, and you can basically go through and check off all the things you did and show that it's your creation. You were involved with every step or with all the major aspects of it, then you've got a better claim to be able to find ways to get it resolved. And you've already gone through different ways to resolve, from the good, the bad, to the ugly.
I want to address this, Aaron. This is a great question, actually, that you have in here. It's a yes and no. The answer is yes and no. So logs from use as a supporting proof of data creation, but with some caveats. And this is the no part. Timestamps like app, like WhatsApp or Messenger or Telegram or Slack can show when it was shared or it was discussed or created. There's a timestamp. If the message contains contextual details like drafts or prompts, strengthen your claim. and it has to have like multiple sources across platform for the timestamp credibility. However, the limitations for this is that it's not legally binding, recording evidence, but they're not primary. Nowadays, it's easy to fake or manipulate without metadata verification or platform authentication. So the courts or the platforms like YouTube or Copyright Office usually want more concrete evidence. Like, give me the metadata of your file. Give me the vision history from platforms like Google Docs or GitHub, like when that actually happened. Give me a blockchain timestamp or registered copyright filing. Full copyright, use copyright filings as their one all be all, because once that happened and you actually copyright your stuff, then there is no legal like you are the owner, you filed it, right? So the Copyright Office, USPTO, it's either going to accept it or deny it, right? And then of course make sure you have your screenshots, your cloud timestamps, your publishing or social media posts that this is yours, contracts or agreements that reference. So hopefully that helps. Any other questions, guys? All right, sister. So let's go ahead and loop it back. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Unmute by Design, soul versus software. It's actually easy for me, right? I'm not going to say I'm not using AI because that is so wrong. I would be like lying. I use AI. However, I use it as a tool to help me put my brains together. Like, full disclosure, I have ADHD, so my thoughts are all over the place. So is Susanna. We're like, huh? What happened? What did I say? I don't know. We record our conversations, not because we're like, aha, you said that. No. Because, aha, we forgot it. Like, that's literally what it is. And when we have a phone conversation, actually is when we create so much goodness. And then we're like, wait, what did you say? I don't know. Did you write it? No. Did you record it? No. This is why we record things, right? But here's the thing. Don't stay away from AI in fear of not being able to create your own stuff. Don't do that. Use AI as a tool, and you yourself should have a soul within all your work. Okay? And I can usually tell if someone uses AI because the conversation that we're having is not deep enough. They kind of skip on some of those beats on the conversation. And then when I ask them a question, I've been teaching a lot. And when I ask them specific questions that I've already heard other students also have done way before AI, we had filing systems in the library, like 13.56 under H, this is the last name, that kind of filing. That's how we think. And I think one of my students actually asked, like, Dr. Leland, do you think the degree today compared to the degree, 20 years ago is the same? I said, heck no. Because the degree 20 years ago was literally blood, sweat, and tears. Okay. Today, it feels like everything is AI, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. There's going to be that differentiator also when you graduated and when you didn't graduate. But my last thing that I want before I turn it on to Anna is do what you feel is ethical. Bottom line. And should and shouldn't do, but do what is ethical. Okay? No one should be able, it's a choice. If you want to be unethical, it's your choice. Really. I'm not going to tell you no. Susanna's not going to tell you no. We just won't work with you. But that's a choice, right? It's a choice. And if you want to live surrounded with people who are kind and compassionate and really push to inspire the best version of yourself, whether you're a songwriter, you're a musician, you're a student, whatever. We have so many facets in life. Who we are doesn't define what you do of who you are. Who you are inside is what we care about. So please unmute as a tool, not a one-all be.
I have no idea what you just said.
Close us out, sister. Close us out.
Close us out. It's a topic that is going to it's going to keep reverberating because so many people use AI. So many people talk about being scared to use AI, and then at some point they're going to have to. It's something that it's really hard to figure out. How do you make sure that you keep your rights, that you have your rights, that you are making sure that you do everything properly, that you own what you create. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to, when it comes to the copyright, is it going to update itself to bring it into the way the world is right now, to help put more lines around what fits, what doesn't, what can be copyright, what isn't going to, and there's still, no matter what happens, there's going to be gray zones. And unfortunately with those, some of them are going to go and be accepted, some of them they're not going to get. Not just what happens in a gray zone like that for legal matters. You don't know what you're going to get until they start ruling on it. So yeah, the copyright for this is going to be, it's going to be interesting, because I'm afraid a lot of people don't understand how much they really have to be involved in every step of what they create. I think too many, it's just like, oh, we'll just tell it to do something, it gives me something, and I run with it. It's just like you see a lot of these books, it's like, oh, just let AI create it, and then you publish it and you'll make lots of money. But is there really a soul in it? Does it really tell a story? Did you actually read what it said? Did you make sure that, did you edit what it said, what it gave you, to make sure that it's correct? There's too many moving pieces, and yeah, too many moving pieces right now.
All right, I don't know what's going on with my internet, but guys, we love you. We will see you on Tuesday, Wednesday. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
I started in the silence, behind closed doors. Dreams too loud to keep tucked in the floorboards. Late nights, broke days, no applause in sight. Just coffee, hustling that fire to fight. They said, play small, but I'm built to expand. No silver spoon, just grit in my hand. I will every note, like armor and steel. Visibility's a battle, but I'm real and I heal. From invisible threads to the front of the stage, I'm rewriting the script, turning scars into page. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. Yeah, yeah. What they couldn't believe. See the back end, just a headline glow. But success is built slow, where the struggle don't show. Algorithms change, but your mission's divine. You're the brand, you're the vision, you're the power behind. You gave free just to prove you have value inside. Now it's invoices paid and your name amplified. You're not just in business, you're changing the game. And your visibility, that's more than a name. No more shrinking, this is expansion. No more asking, this is commanding. You've been the spark, now you're the flame. Entrepreneur by fire, fueled by name. Level up, rise above the fear. Let them hear your voice, make your purpose clear. Every step, every stumble, every tear in the rough. You were made for this moment, you are enough. Level up, break through the doubt. Turn the whispers of your past into a victory shout. You ain't just chasing clout, you're building a legacy. Now the world's gonna see what they couldn't believe. What they couldn't believe. To the late nights, the lost friends, the risks you took, to the brand you built and the space you shook. Here's your crown, your moment, your spotlight beam. You didn't just chase the dream, you became the dream.